live on your tablet, phone, and the KUTV app. This is 2 News Live.
Thanks for joining us for 2 News Live. I'm Brian Schnee. It's Friday, April 21st. We're going to go in depth on a number of topics tonight. Of course, looking at flooding, the city of Draper conducting some work in their area to try to prevent things from happening. Daniel Woodruff has some coverage on that. We're looking at some body camera video from a mudslide in Fruit Heights, but we want to start with our Jim Spiewak live downtown, just outside of our station, actually, where Salt Lake City fire crews are on the scene of a reported fire. Jim, what are you seeing right now?
Time there's 4 fire engines that come out to a fire, it certainly gets our attention. So here we are, we're on 300 South, right down the way from State Street, just less than a half a block away. Take a look over our shoulder here. Firefighters have moved us across the street. This is a vacant building. Firefighters had to pry the plywood away. They've made entrance because they did see a little bit of smoke coming out of this building a few minutes ago. We saw some of the smoke as well. I did talk with a firefighter on scene here. He says that this is very, very minor, and they wanted to take their time making entrance because the building is vacant. They didn't want to just rush right in because they weren't entirely sure about the structural integrity of the building and what they were going to see on the other side. But the firefighter that I did talk with say this is very, very minor. They are going to make entry. They're going to go and put that smoke out. Again, this is a vacant building, so theoretically there's no one inside. There are no injuries to report at this time, but 300 South is closed for about 100 yards leading up to State Street, over to the east to State Street. So there are 4 fire engines out here right now, so there's a large firefighter response that has come out here, but from what I'm being told by one of the people on scene here is that this is very minor. There was a little bit of smoke. They did make entry a few minutes ago. They're going to go in there and put that smoke out. Brian?
Some encouraging news there. Thank you, Jim. I was out there earlier and saw the whole force heading out that way, so glad things have calmed down quite a bit. Hey, let's go in depth on some flooding issues across the state. It is raining in downtown Salt Lake City right now. Some parts of Draper dealing with flooding at this very moment, while others are preparing for that possibility as more snow melts. A few minutes ago, I caught up with our Daniel Woodruff to see how crews are taking action now to prevent potential disaster later.
Well, Brian, we're here in Draper where they're really trying to prepare ahead of any flooding this year. Flooding already happened back in January, which we reported on in the Suncrest community, and the snow up there continues to pose problems for people as groundwater seeps into their homes. But then down here in the valley, too, crews have been working really hard to try to make sure that the water flows well so that it doesn't, this surface water doesn't seep up over into streets, into homes. In fact, if I can show you a little bit here, as I switch my camera, I'm standing here in sort of a canal drainage area. Here's a culvert, and the crews were actually today all down in there digging out the sediment that you can see underneath that water. They say that there had been a lot built up over the years, and that was going to prevent water from flowing as well as it needs to, kind of as it goes now underneath. You don't get a great view, but underneath that pipe there, through that. So they were in there digging that out. And if you actually look above here where I'm at on the other side of the street, maybe you can see them, a long line of sandbags as neighbors are just making sure that they're prepared ahead of any potential flooding.
I see the bags there. They kind of blend in with the fence there, obviously the same color, but you're right. It's the entire street. But what else are the folks in Draper trying to do? I'm imagining this is a long process for them, right? It's not just like, okay, we do one project, we're done. There's still a pretty big concern about what can take place in the next couple months.
Well, it's been a long process for the people in Suncrest, which Suncrest sits at the very top of that mountain, right as you come to the kind of Salt Lake, Utah County line. And they've had trouble because groundwater began seeping into basements back in January. And then it's been doing it pretty much ever since. And we went up there today and looked at people's homes, the water pumping out of their homes. And it's just a solid, constant pump. One guy said it's been pumping for 3 months. So it is a very long process. He says he hopes the worst of it is over, but you never know about how quickly it warms up or whatnot. People here are really hoping for the best, that it just melts slowly. That's kind of the key. Let's let this snow that we needed, that we wanted, let's let it melt kind of slowly. And that's kind of the hope. But what do you do with Mother Nature? You just hope and wish for the best.
Just quickly, I was in the Suncrest neighborhood a few weeks ago. Is there still just a ton of snow up there?
Yeah, there's a decent amount. A lot of it's melted, but it kind of depends on which side of the street you're on. We were in front of one house today that had several feet still in their front yard. It's not across the whole yard, but in parts. And so, yeah, there's still plenty of snow up there in people's yards, and then certainly in the mountains above.
Thanks, Daniel.
We appreciate the close-up of Daniel Woodruff, not normally the view that we get here, so only on 2 News Live. So brand new video only on 2 tonight. It shows the moments a Davis County Sheriff's Office deputy arrived on scene of a mudslide in Fruit Heights. It did a lot of damage. It's a very unique situation, shows the power of the mud and the debris flow and the dangers of these types of slides. This took place on Saturday, April 8th. Neighbors were trying to help dig out a man who got caught in that mudslide. Now here's the perspective from Deputy Leota with the Davis County Sheriff's Office, who from what we could see was the initial first responder in uniform on scene. The deputy gets out of his car. You'll notice a bunch of people around this shed area, which we learned was a chicken coop and a small barn. There are about 8 people here in frame, 4 or 5 actively trying to dig out the man buried in the mud. The deputy works with 2 other officers who get there on scene very quickly after, and seconds later they all went in to try and get the man out.
There we go. There we go.
You okay? Yeah. Now if you're get out,
You can get out. We just need something firm to sturdy you.
Can you pull me backwards?
Yeah.
That right leg might be broken.
Well,
He needs support.
definitely hurting.
They pulled the man out. They got him on his feet. There was concern of a significant leg injury from the impact. Meanwhile, everyone is standing in a few feet of mud at this point with water and other debris still flowing nearby. An ambulance and paramedics are just arriving at this point.
Drag me backwards. Drag me backwards like you dragged me out.
Oh.
This way.
Okay, we got wait. 1,
Yeah, we got to get
2,
you guys out of
3.
here.
Let's get out.
Hang on right there.
Brad, I got you. I'm gonna pull you, okay?
Okay. Get me out of here. Get these guys out of here. Got him.
What a mess, but ultimately some really great teamwork between neighbors, deputies trying to get this man out. Shortly after he was pulled out, paramedics arrived on scene to check him out. The man's name is Frank. Today he saw this video for the very first time. Frank was trying to dig a channel for the water around his barn to try and save his chickens. And that's when the mudslide happened. Now today we actually had the chance to sit down with Frank and his wife, both recovering from injuries, both on crutches from the injuries they sustained in the slide. They had a lot of help coming from family and friends. They're on the mend right now. Initially, they thought Frank actually broke his leg, but doctors later discovered at the hospital they both broke their ankles in the exact same spot.
Hers was a little worse than mine, so she had to have pins and a plate put in. I just had a splint until last Monday, and they put a cast on.
Well, if you want to see the full video of this response, we posted it on YouTube. You can check it out there, KUTV 2 News, Salt Lake City. That's our full name. We've got it up there right now. And also, if you want to hear from Frank about his response to watching this video today, you can join us on 2 News at 6 o'clock. Our Ariel Harrison does the longer version of this, right? She talks to both them, Frank and his wife, about what this was like, how they're doing now, but also what it's like to watch yourself in a situation like this.
Yeah,
Very
and we
scary.
don't see his wife
No.
anywhere in this particular video. So I wonder if they got her out first, or where, how that played out. But I guess we'll find out tonight, right?
That's the voice of Sterling Paulson. Very interested in the mudslide, right? Because it's very different, right?
Yeah, it
so
is.
This is really cool. We've got kind of this split screen action going. We got Zion here on your side. We've got Parley's Canyon here at the Lambs area on this side. This is live right now. So just an absolutely beautiful scene there at Zion. And some would call this beautiful. I don't know if it's beautiful for everyone on April 21st.
Yeah, some light rain and snow in the higher elevations. It's really not causing any major problems. But I mean, just to see the rain coming down again, some people said that are along the benches and have been having flooding problems are just like, please.
Now, if you could
Enough.
be outside right now, which one would you choose?
Oh, I'd be definitely down in southern Utah.
I had a
probably
feeling it would go
probably
that way.
over by Quail Lake or Sand Hollow looking for some bass. So, but it's still a little bit cool for that even. All right, let's get to the forecast, show you what we've got going on. First alert weather for you. We do have 40 degrees in Ogden, Salt Lake City 44, and Provo as you head farther south, yes, 51 degrees, mostly cloudy skies. And yeah, you can see that rain falling along the Wasatch Front. It's going to be here for a few more hours. Mainly a dry weekend, though. That's the good news. The temperatures are going to be rising, and it will be drier than normal as we start to move. We're already a little bit drier than normal, but as we move ahead, you can see that moisture just streaming into the northern part of the state, but there is a break in. It is coming. Notice the ripples over the mountains showing some breezy conditions there. It's kind of an interesting satellite picture. See right here? You can almost see the mountain ranges. Just so we call this wave clouds. They're going over the mountains of northeastern Nevada there. So yeah, we're going to see a little bit of rain continuing. Nothing heavy, but it does look like the light rain showers are continuing to develop out to the west and then move into the Wasatch Front. Utah County hasn't seen a lot of rain yet, but I think it'll fill in a little bit over the next hour or so as some of those dynamics move a little bit farther to the south. So chances of rain drop to about 30% by 9 p.m. and they kind of hover there through the rest of the night. Tomorrow morning, 40 degrees in Moab, 50 in Page, 50 in St. George, 29 in Ely, and 34 in Elko. Highs tomorrow, 59 in Elko, 54 in Nephi, 48 in Vernal, and 33 in Evanston. That is not an April temperature, 33 degrees for the high. And then here's the forecast for Salt Lake City, up to 53 by 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. That's going to feel nice. So you'll get a little bit of a chance to work outside on Saturday. How much precipitation? We're only looking at about maybe a 9/100ths or a half, less than a 1/10 of an inch in most cases. So we're not going to see a lot of continuous. Here we are, just slightly below normal for the month of April so far, which is actually a good thing. We just don't need to pile up anymore, but this is a concerning thing right here. Above normal temperatures are in the forecast as we move into the end of the month and into May, and below normal precipitation. So what's going to happen is we have this big monster high pressure that builds along the west coast. How far it pushes into Utah is still a question, but it does look like the pattern is going to change. The pattern we've seen, the storm pattern for the last several months, it does look like we're going to see a change to more warmer temperatures, and that could be something we're going to be tracking very, very carefully. Okay.
Hey, come on over here.
Well, I wasn't sure if Wendy was going to take my place.
Well, no.
here.
We need you over here because
Okay.
now we changed the cameras up a little bit.
Okay,
So we're doing
so
double
am I
feature
back
of snow.
here?
You can be wherever you want.
Okay.
That's the beauty of this very wide camera
Hi.
shot. I'd love you over here. But hey, so look here, Honeycomb Canyon.
Right.
So this is
Yeah, they've had
some
about
mountain snow in April.
Yeah, and they've
That's
had about
relative.
4 inches in Brighton, 3.5, 4 inches up in the Brighton area.
Are people seeing this saying extend the season? Or are they saying, we're done now. Let's think about some golf?
Oh, everybody wants to play golf.
Yeah.
I mean, and the resorts are closing, right?
They are.
Yeah, so it's time. Let's get on with it.
Will this continue over the next couple? I mean, this is not uncommon to have mountain
It's not
snow in
uncommon,
April.
but tonight and tomorrow, and then things will clear out.
All right. Thank you,
So
Sterling.
yeah.
Remember to download a 2 News weather app to know about changes in your neighborhood. You can get updated forecasts, live radar right on your phone. The app is free. It is easy to download. Hey, if you're looking for something fun to do tomorrow, we just showed you that live picture from just outside Zion National Park. Why don't you consider any one of our Mighty Five? The government waiving entrance fees at more than 400 parks across America to celebrate the start of National Park Week. If you miss it, the next free day is August 4th. We want to hear from you at home. Grab your phone right now, scan the QR code. I want to know which park you want to see. This is a pretty good one. I've been to almost all of them on this list. I haven't made it through the entry point at Capitol Reef. I've driven by it, but not actually gone in. So maybe that'll change this year. Which of the parks are you most likely to visit this summer? None of you saying you're going to Moab. I don't believe you at all. 0%. Sounds like more of you need to weigh in. Bryce Canyon, it's a good, easier one to get to, especially from the Wasatch Front in terms of timing. Capitol Reef, a little bit more tucked in there. I can see it. And if you're going to southern Utah, you must go to Zion. Let's flip the script now. Tonight at 10, a parole fugitive on the run for weeks. Sergio Rivera on the Metro Gang Unit's 10 most wanted list. We've got Wendy Halloran here now with a preview of what you're looking into tonight. What are you looking at?
This is a violent fugitive. I can't stress that enough. He has been in the system since he was a juvenile. In fact, his first conviction related to domestic violence conviction back in 2004, even, convicted of rioting. He has a propensity for violence against women that he is romantically involved with. He has been paroled time and time again, and each time he violates the terms of his parole. He is a wanted fugitive. The Utah Board of Pardons and Parole has issued a warrant for his arrest. He's been missing since March 6th, so this is pretty recent here. But he's been given at least 4 to 5 chances at parole. So he is a repeat domestic batterer. And there is one case where he actually held a knife to his victim's throat in front of police and threatened to cut her. But then he lies. He lies when he's caught. He's questioned by the parole board members, and they ask him about this, and he doesn't remember details, and then he threatens to silence them so they won't prosecute him. It is a very fascinating at-large Utah's fugitives case. You
see a number of mugshots there. Obviously, the laws have changed where you probably don't see anything overly recent on there within the last year or so. However, there's a lot of them. So,
yes.
What makes this time different in this situation?
In this situation, there is one recent one of 2022.
Oh, okay.
Once they're incarcerated in the Utah Department of Corrections, they do mugshots. They're called inmate photos, actually, instead of a jail setting, because he has been in prison for so many years. They do a recent mugshot, or inmate photo, I should say. So what's different this time is that he has children with several mothers, and they've all been his victims. So the domestic violence aspect of this case is extremely troubling, because in all of these cases with the women, he has threatened to silence them so that they won't prosecute him. He's even been charged with witness tampering, but then they're so fearful for their lives that they recant and they refuse to cooperate with authorities, with police and prosecutors. So we've got a repeat domestic batterer here on the run. It's very dangerous.
You make a very good point about the inmate photo versus the booking photo. That is typically, in my role, that is where I would find them. So that is different than obviously yours. Right. So you make a great point there. Your series at large, what is the successes of this series over the last few years? Do you have any data behind
I do.
What has turned up? I would love to hear it.
Of course we keep track.
I would love to hear it.
So, and the Metro Gang Unit has done an amazing job catching these fugitives, and we truly believe here at 2 News that we have really helped by getting this out there to the public. So far, they have caught 7 fugitives, which is incredibly, great, because these are convicted criminals who are habitual offenders, and they have a long, drawn-out history of reoffending, and they don't want to be caught. So it's really difficult to find them, but the public has been incredibly helpful too. They call in the tips, they email in the tips, even though some people might be afraid. We always warn our viewers, if you see the person that we're profiling, do not approach them, because they are all dangerous. We don't take any on that aren't dangerous, and they're on the Metro Gang Unit for a reason. They are the worst of the worst.
Wendy, I know this is something you're very passionate about. Thank you for bringing this to everybody. Thank you for bringing this to our attention, for sharing this with viewers, and ultimately getting some of those results that the Metro Gang Unit is looking for.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wendy's story coming up tonight on 2 News at 10 o'clock. Let's take a look right now at our website, KUTV.com, which is also where you can find a number of Wendy's stories from over the last few years. Let's take a look at what is trending right now here on our website. South Salt Lake had a review with the Salt Lake County District Attorney today, Sim Gill, talking about an officer-involved shooting from late last year. They did rule the officers justified in that incident. That is our main highlighted article right now on our website, KUTV.com. But when we're talking about trending, our our Darby Sparks worked on this story last night. We brought it to you right here on 2 News Live, of Lehigh police pulling over a vehicle they believe was stolen and connected to something else. They pulled over the wrong vehicle. The video interaction, very interesting. That is why that story is still trending right now on our website. Maverick, I stopped at one yesterday. It's where I go all the time as a reporter, because I'm looking for that microwave no matter where I am all across the state. Well, Maverick made a large acquisition today. That is trending as our second highest trending story on our website, KUTV.com. Also, Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson had a very short stint as governor this morning. I think it was about 2.5 hours. Governor Spencer Cox had some sort of a medical procedure where he had to temporarily hand over the reins to our LG for a few hours. He has reclaimed that role of governor, though, but definitely something, if you're on social media, caught your eye this morning. All of those stories trending right now on our website, KUTV.com. You can't go wrong by checking it out to see what is going on throughout the day, throughout the last few days, and making sure that you're up to speed on all the things not only we're talking about here on 2 News Live, but throughout all of our newscasts. You can download the app, very easy to find at Apple App Store or on Google Play. Happening tomorrow. I don't like telling this to you right now because it's raining in downtown Salt Lake City, but it's the 2023 Salt Lake City Marathon. Tomorrow morning, some important road closures to be aware of if you're going to be moving throughout the city. 8 different events tomorrow. On your screen is a road closure map. Each event closes different streets during a specific time frame. On the right-hand side is the key for the events and their route. You can head to our website right now to see all of the closures and take a closer look at this map. I'm leaning in right now to get a good look with you. A marathon route, a bike tour, half marathon route, 6K. They've got the 10K, they've got the skate. They've got a whole lot of it. Sterling, will it be raining tomorrow?
38 degrees.
Will it be raining too or not?
I don't think, not like we're seeing right now.
Okay.
There could be an isolated shower or two, but the temperatures will be in the upper 30s. By the end of the race, probably closer to 50 degrees.
Okay, that's pretty comfortable though.
not
I
bad.
mean, if you're doing a long distance run, whether that be the 10K
You don't
or
want it to
something
be
longer.
85.
You don't want it to be 85. You don't want it to be humid. As someone who grew up in New England, I can tell you that. That's not comfortable. And you definitely don't want it to be freezing. So that's
It'll
sweet
be above
spot
freezing
for the
sure.
run.
Yeah.
Well, that'll do it for us for 2 News Live for the work week.
Yeah, I
we've
hope
got
you
to
have a
take
great
the weekend
weekend.
off. Yeah, we've got to take the weekend off.
Get
We've been
out there
working
and
way
do
too
something
hard.
fun. Work in your yard.
This is a good weekend to do
Yeah.
it.
Go hiking in southern Utah.
See? What else you got for us?
I don't know, but it's getting fun out there.
Thanks for joining us for 2 News Live. We're back next week. Enjoy a great weekend with your friends and family. We'll see you on Monday, 5:30. Take care.